Welcome back to the best podcast here on YouTube, folks. The Gurus of the Gridiron are here to tell you about the most prestigious award in football. It's the MVP race, and we're going to tell you why and how these guys are going to win.
All right, my number one pick is Tom Brady, and the reason I have Tom Brady here is because he is the GOAT. He is the 40-year-old doing what a 40-year-old isn't supposed to do, and I mean, what else can you say about it? I mean, his offensive line is bad, but he still puts up the stats. His defense has been lacking, but he still wins games. That is what you look for in an MVP. You look for the player that brings the most value to your team. And what else can you do but look to Tom Brady? And that's what's going to carry them in playoffs. It's going to carry them. It's been carried in the regular season. He is the most valuable player to his team.
I mean, agreeing with him, it's Tom Brady, man. It's a 40-year-old wonder. It's like Vince Carter still throwing down windmill dunks at 40 years old. Manu Ginobili put back dunks at 40 years old. I mean, MVP, most valuable player. He's most valuable because without him, the Patriots are not the Patriots. But I see him carrying out.
I'm a little different than these guys. Here's how I see this MVP award. It's the number one player on the number one offense. These Rams are for real. They're scoring on everybody, and I gotta say, coming off that sophomore slump, this man has 20 touchdowns and 2,000 yards. That is tremendous for a running back. That's Adrian Peterson numbers from a few years ago. And just think, if he keeps it up, then he'll. I think. Hold up. What was it? What did I read? He is one of 3 players to have 150 rushing yards and 100 receiving yards. Him and Herschel Walker and a guy from. It happens about every 30 years you see a talent like this, and he's the best running back in the league, and in my opinion, the best player.
All right, coming in at number 2 for me is the guy he just talked about. It's Todd Gurley, and Todd Gurley is a phenom for the Rams. I think he carries the Rams. I think he is the primary guy for the Rams. But the reason he's behind Tom Brady to me is because it is a quarterback league. We've seen with the Texans, for instance. They've had a good running back, but they didn't have a good quarterback, and they could not make the playoffs. Todd Gurley is a very talented running back. He has been carrying the Rams, but the reason they can make the playoffs, in my opinion, is because they have a talented quarterback in Jared Goff. They have a talented defense. They just have other pieces around him. I think he could win the MVP, but I think Tom Brady, with the value-wise, gives him the edge over Todd Gurley in this race.
I mean, my number 2, I have Drew Brees.
The man.
Like, this year, I mean, he hasn't done as much as he has had to in the past years, because this year we have a running game behind him. But when he does have to pass the ball, he gets the job done. But that 71.9% completion percentage, it's way up there. I mean, he's still at 4,000 yards. It's not as much as usual. Usually it's like 5,000, but he's still throwing it. He's still throwing the rock like he needs to.
Number 2, I got Tom Brady. You can never go wrong with this pick. This man will probably win it, but it's my opinion, so I think Todd Gurley should win it. But since it's a quarterback-driven league, I got to say they'll probably more likely go for Tom Brady because he's the best quarterback right now. But he's, like I said, the best quarterback right now for the best team. But he's looked really shaky these last few weeks, and you cannot end the season shaky and for me to give you the MVP. He's not blowing up statistics. I think Carson Wentz is still beating him in touchdowns. I only think he leads the league in passing yards. He's at 2 because he's the clutchest player I've seen leading the Steelers come back like that, blowing out this division years and years and years. I mean, I gotta say this man is the GOAT, and he is a deserving candidate.
All right, number 3, I've got the man, Drew Brees. And the reason I have him here is because of the value he brings to the Saints. And I'm not saying talent-wise here. I'm saying leadership-wise. You see before the pregame, it's usually the big guy. He's always getting the team hype. But on the Saints team, you look in the middle of the huddle, it's Drew Brees right there telling each of his teammates, we can go out here and win games. We can go out here and make a run for the playoffs. We can do everything. Drew Brees, like Riley said, he's a 4,000-yard passer. About 5 years ago, that was unheard of. That was a good statistic. And now that he doesn't have to throw the ball 40 or 50 times a game, he can throw it 30 and still season 4,000 yards. That's impressive in my books. Value-wise, he brings the Saints up. He is bringing value to the Saints, which is what the most valuable player is supposed to do. That's why he's number 3 in my books.
Number 3, have that man, Todd Gurley. I mean, like they said, he's like a one-of-a-kind talent. He's killing out of the backfield, running between the tackles, outside of the tackles. It just looks unstoppable. For a running back, he's very fast, looking like a receiver out there. I mean, he's also leading the league in rushing. 1,300 yards? That's crazy.
My last pick, and this might come to surprises, folks, I got Case Keenum. These Vikings teams have been great. Coach Zimmer has really coached these guys up, but I just look at these stat lines and be like, 25 of 28 for 300 yards and 2 touchdowns and no picks. And I gotta say, it's definitely the game plan around him, and this man has the weapons, and he honestly isn't getting enough attention he deserves for how well he's keeping these Vikings afloat. He was a 3rd-string quarterback coming in. This is his best season, and that is nothing to argue with. These guys are in prime position, and the 3rd-string quarterback is putting up excellent stats.
All right, guys, that's been our MVP race as of Week 17. The reason we wanted to do this is because the lead guy, Carson Wentz, got hurt. The next lead guy, Antonio Brown, gets hurt. So we wanted to inform y'all who would be next on our list and in our opinion. So that's just been our MVP race as of Week 17. This can always, who knows, Todd Gurley could get hurt. Who knows, Tom Brady could get hurt. Anything could happen. So just make sure that you keep your eye out and always watch the next videos that we have coming up. Until next time, that's the Gridiron Gurus signing out.